Hey everybody out there, how you doing? I got a quick video for you. I'm going to show you how to bleed the brake lines and change the brake cable. Some of you may need to do that if you're going to shorter or taller handlebars. So you'll need to change the cable. So I'm going to kind of show you a quick little video for that. It's not too labor intensive. You don't need too many tools either. Pretty quick, easy job if it's something you want to save yourself some money to do on your own. It's fairly easy to do. So I'm going to kind of get into that. I'm going to show kind of bleeding the brakes first, and then I will show changing out the brake line. So if you just kind of want to know about bleeding the brakes, just watch the first part of the video. If you want to see the brake line change, watch the whole video because you'll need to know all the information. So let's get started on that. All right, pretty basic tools you're going to need for this job. You're going to need a 3/8 inch wrench. My master cylinder cover just takes a regular Phillips head screwdriver. So I have that, just an empty clear bottle, some 1/4 inch inside diameter clear vinyl hosing, and then one little bottle of brake fluid. Should do more than enough for the job to bleed the brakes or fill them back up, in my case, since I'm putting a whole new front brake line on. So I've got a 2001 Fatboy. So on mine, I'm going to go from the furthest part, which is this bleeder valve right here on the caliper. There's a little rubber cover on those, so pull that off. You don't want to lose that because you want to make sure that you don't get any gunk or anything inside that nipple, that bleeder valve. What we want to do, cover up your bike, put a towel on there, painted surfaces, anything you don't want. That brake fluid can be kind of nasty. So cover up what you don't want to get brake fluid on in the event of a spill. So first thing we're going to do, I am just going to loosen up my master cylinder cover here. You can take it all the way off if you want, but you don't need to. I'm just loosening mine. Now if you're bleeding the brakes, you'll want to take it all the way off so you can see in there. Because you don't want to, if you're bleeding the brakes, you don't want to run out of fluid in your master cylinder as you're doing this, because you're just going to introduce more air into the line and you're going to defeat the purpose of what you're trying to do. So, but let's see if I can get a good shot of this. Okay, so what we're going to do is first get your stuff set up so you don't get any of that brake fluid anywhere. So I've got my old plastic bottle, put a vent hole in the top, and then just put a little cut a couple cross marks in it right here, just so I can put that hose down in there like so, so it'll catch the brake fluid. And then right here on the nipple of that bleeder valve, just put the other end on there. Okay, so I have long enough arms, so what I'm going to do, to start the bleeding process, you're going to grab the brake lever and depress, and then come down here and take your 3/8 inch wrench. Okay, you're going to open up your bleeder valve. Alright, and you're going to have fluid come through there. If you're bleeding it because you got squishy brakes, then you'll see air and everything. So when you're doing this, when you open it up, you'll feel the lever go all the way back. Now if you're bleeding, you don't want to let go of the lever while you've got the bleeder valve open, because you're just going to draw air into the system. So you want to make sure you tighten your bleeder valve back up and build you up some more pressure. Once you got pressure built up, open the bleeder valve again. And you'll have more fluid come through, and then close it. All right, so we've got our bleeder valve right here. Okay, so we're gonna build up some pressure. Squeeze your brake lever, build up some pressure, squeeze it down, okay? And take your wrench, All right, and open up your bleeder valve. And you're going to see that fluid come out. And if you're bleeding your brakes, okay, you want to wait, you want to see that that's only fluid coming through. But in my case, since I'm changing the brake line out, I want to make sure I get all of the fluid out. So, and then I'll show you how to change this. But that's how you bleed your brakes. So, if you're bleeding them, just make sure that when you see coming through here, you're only getting fluid out. And remember to watch that level in your reservoir because you don't want to introduce air back into the system from up top and have to do it all over again. All right, so, and that's how you bleed your brakes. Like I said, just keep an eye on that reservoir. Make sure you get enough. You don't want to go chasing bubbles through your line. I actually wanted to drain my line because I'm changing it. So, check, we got all of our wonderful brake fluid right there drained out. So now we can get on to changing out the new brake line. So, all right, so I've got the new cable. This is kind of this nicer braided cable. It's not like super fancy chrome or anything, but just a little more flexible. It's going to work in my application with the handlebars. This one was nice. It came with new crush washers for both the upper and lower fitting. So if your kit doesn't come with new crush washers, you'll definitely want to go out and get those. Yeah, make sure you don't have any leaks or anything. Yeah, I can't get them focused. There we go. Now it's focusing. So yeah, get new crush washers if your kit doesn't come with them. Now to change out the brake line, there's a couple things you want to do beforehand. I already have my old brake line disconnected, but right here, it secures in right here and right there. And then there's one right up under here. There's a bracket in there. For these and this one, it is a, or actually, sorry, this bolt right here is a 3/16 Allen wrench. And then, I don't know why these were, but these were on my bike. It was a number 4 Allen wrench, to get for the bolt. And then it was a 7/16 inch nut. So here's what it looks like. That is what secures the two brackets on that secure the hard line on the bike right there. So number 4 Allen wrench for the bolt, 7/16 inch wrench for the nut on the back. And the bottom one's really easy. You can get to that pretty easy with the wrench. The top one, you got to kind of finagle it and feel around with your finger. So to get those loose, and then I got some new brackets for the line that's going to go in there. So I'm going to reuse all 3 mounting spots, but I just have new brackets to go in. All right, so now what we're going to do on your brake lever and your master cylinder, you've got the banjo bolt here that's holding the top fitting on. Mine is a 7/16 inch, so just double check yours before you start. But we're going to break that free. Okay, and like I said, most kits, you'll reuse the existing banjo bolts, but you'll want to use new crush washers. And I still have a little bit of fluid in the reservoir, so I'm going to get some towel here to make sure that when I pull this banjo bolt out all the way, that brake fluid doesn't go all over my floor or my bike. So I've got that out. Okay. Get that crush washer off there and pull that out. Alright, so now what I'm going to do so I don't lose this, I'm just going to screw this lightly right back in to the master cylinder. Alright, so now we're down here at the bottom fitting. And my bottom fitting is a 3/8 inch wrench. So kind of the same thing we're going to do as we did on the top. Get that. Whoa, man, alive. Somebody cranked this guy down. Oh, there we go. Alright, so we'll loosen this one up. I didn't get all of the brake fluid out of the line, so I have a little catch underneath here to catch it, keep it from going all over my garage floor. Alright, so we got that one out. We'll just set that off to the side. Get that banjo bolt, get those crush washers off there. So you're gonna have crush washers on both sides of both fittings, here and here. So you have 2 crush washers on each fitting, top and bottom. So get those. All right, there we go. So now the bottom fitting is free. All right, so I've got the new brake line, and we're gonna install that. Just do the reverse of what you did to get it off. So we're going to take our banjo bolt, put our new crush washers on. Okay. So crush washers front and back. Oh, and I had that the wrong way. We want to go in this way because my fitting comes off there. My fitting comes off there to 90 degree. So we're going to put that up. Whoops, don't drop your crush washer. So we're going to get that situated. Okay. Tighten this down by hand first. Alright, so we'll get this positioned up right. So that was like that before. Alright. And we'll take our 3/8 inch wrench. Okay. And we're going to tighten this down. Alright. You don't want to tighten it too much. You don't want to strip out any threads. But you want to get it tight enough. Get those crush washers down. Make sure there's no leaks or anything in your system. I don't know the exact torque specs. If you want to look that up, you can. I don't have a torque wrench. So I just kind of get it tight where I don't think it's going to come out. And where I'm not feeling like I'm going to strip anything else. So that's pretty tight. That's down pretty tight. So now we have the bottom put back on. Alright, so now we're going to secure the top fitting. I got these little replacement brackets at the store when I got the brake fluid. I'm just going to put those on loose for now. So you got that one, you got one here, and you got one here. I'm just going to put those on loose for now, just so I can kind of move the line around and get it to where I want once I get it secured. But so let's go ahead and put the top bracket back on. Let me get you snugged into the tripod here. Alright, so very similar to how we took it off is how we're going to put it back on. Take your banjo bolt out here. Make sure I don't get any brake fluid dripping all over the place. Take the old crush washers off. Put the new crush washer, put the new crush washers on there. And no, we want to go in this way on the new fitting. And we are going to come in and put it down. Alright, so same thing. Yeah, we're just going to get this. That cooperate for me. I'm going to get that started by hand. Get that started by hand, and we'll screw that right in there by hand. Nice and snug. And then take 7/16 inch wrench. All right. And we'll tighten it down the rest of the way. Make sure that's where I want it. I think that'll probably work just fine for me right there. So we're going to tighten that up. There we go. All right, that's good and tight. That's going to work right there for us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill my master cylinder back up, and I'm going to do the reverse process of filling the hose back up. It's just like breathing the brakes. Put it in, squeeze it, undo it, squeeze it, undo it, until you get all the fluid in there, and you only have clean fluid coming out of the bottom. All right, so a couple fairly easy jobs using pretty common tools. Bleeding your brakes shouldn't take that long, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. And then, you know, as you saw, changing out the whole brake line, I still got to put the fluid back in and fill the new line back up. But like I said, that shouldn't take too long, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. If you got to do the whole job, 30 minutes maybe, if that. Not a hard job, not that many complicated tools, just a few wrenches and some work. So that is bleeding your brakes and changing out front brake line. So until the next video, happy riding, keep the shiny side up, and don't waste a good corner.